Creating a risk-free environment is very important in education today. Many students don't have a place where they can relax and feel comfortable and safe from the rest of the world.
Still, it's a real good bet. The best is yet to come. The best is yet to come, and babe, won't it be fine?
The importance of an open environment is crucial for critical and creative thinking. The teacher, the most visible person in the room, the one who controls the rewards in the classroom, and the person who is seen as the learned person, is a model for acceptance of divergent thinking.
You ain't seen nothing yet. The best is yet to come, and babe, won't it be fine? The best is yet to come.
Students are able to understand intuitively whether the environment is risk-free and open, or whether they feel threatened by the teacher's ridicule, or whether the teacher will allow the class to ridicule or make them feel threatened in some way for their responses. A risk-free environment is one in which all students feel that their opinion, contributions, and thinking are valued.
The best is yet to come, come the day or mine.
The tone of voice or the way a question is presented to students can intimidate them, especially in critical thinking. No one wants to look or feel that they are less bright in front of their peers. Young people are no exception. Encouraging students' questions in an open manner also increases the atmosphere of openness for thinking.
You think you've flown before, but you ain't left the ground.
Formative support should be given often during the process of critical thinking, along with formative grades. Credit for efforts during the process also help demonstrate to students that teachers are interested in the learning and thinking process. Using encouragement for improvement rather than only rewarding a correct answer or giving a high grade also helps promote cooperation and can promote taking chances in learning.
The best is yet to come, come the day you're mine.
An open environment is one in which asking questions, particularly higher level questions, is never used to embarrass or manipulate students. Wait time is the time between asking a question and calling on a student for an answer. And really listening to the student's answer also have much to do with an accepting environment. Using teachable moments also indicates respect for students' thoughts. A teachable moment occurs when a student veers from one lesson plan with a thought or question that, although was not directly on the topic, is truly valuable for the whole class, so the teacher follows this lead. The lesson plan is left for a time and the teacher directs the lesson to the thought introduced by the student, returning to the plan when appropriate. Probing is another way to increase levels of questioning. This can be seen as a reward for many students because the teacher is staying with their idea. Probing questions follow a student's response by asking the learner to think more deeply and thoroughly about what was just said. Teachers should be careful to do this with all learners rather than just with one or two of the smarter ones.
And I say, you look wonderful.
Bloom's revised taxonomy is very important when creating a safe environment. Benjamin Bloom developed a taxonomy of cognitive objectives in the 1950s. These objectives were intended to express qualitatively different types of thinking, from the most basic to higher order thinking levels. It was adapted to the classrooms first as a planning tool and later as a way to classify types of questions. Within the safe environment, there has to be effective teaching. Using the Bloom's revised taxonomy, we can ask ourselves better questions. What do highly effective teachers do with what they know about learning? How do they treat students? How do they prepare to teach? What do they do when they teach and assess? What do they expect of their students? And what do they know and understand? It's important for teachers to use Bloom's taxonomy to challenge students to use higher-level thinking skills. Higher-level thinking may be new for some students who have spent years in traditional classrooms where lower-level thinking and activities were the norm. Teachers should expect that using these higher-level activities and questionings may create some resistance or frustration because students must now think harder in different ways. Learners may encourage the teacher to return to a more familiar type of teaching because their comfort level is being challenged. As with all skills, understanding that practice is necessary both for the teacher and the students will help keep the environment open and encouraging. There are many areas that encourage higher-level thinking. Even management sets the stage for higher-level thinking in several ways.
De volta pra casa, cansados de...
First, if teachers are model listeners and require that the class be quiet to hear an answer, students will vicariously see that their answers, when called on, will be important too. Teachers should ensure that students are quiet so that learners with soft voices are heard when they answer, particularly if it is a longer, higher-level answer.
Estavas linda até demais.
In contrast, teachers need to recognize that talking in group work is often part of the process in divergent situations, and management techniques must be changed accordingly. Students should talk in voices that do not disturb neighboring classes, but they should talk. Equity issues can also be linked with higher-level questioning. For example, teachers' behaviors in questioning low-achieving students has been identified. These behaviors consist of asking low achievers lower-level questions, most of the time or exclusively, giving them less wait time and eye contact when questioned, assessing their answers and work differently, and overall interacting with them less. For all students, divergent questions are much more likely to captivate interest and participation. It has also been found that teachers may ask boys rather than girls questions that call for more complex, abstract, higher-level thinking, and boys' responses most often receive the teacher's active attention. In addition, teachers may only engage a few of their top students in higher-level activities. To prevent inequalities, a teacher can keep a note card with students' names and mark the name when a student answers a high-level question to ensure equity. Another strategy is to have a mental grid of your classroom and direct higher-level questions to specific seat numbers to make sure all students are covered. However, a pattern that seems random should be established, such as calling on every fourth student rather than going directly down a row. Teachers' expectations about learner responses are critical. If the teacher sets expectations for careful, thoughtful answers for all students, then the likelihood of that result increases. Failing at fairness addresses many of these issues in depth. If a teacher expects all students to be able to deal with higher levels of thinking and use strategies for making sure that the entire class participates in questioning at higher levels, then the whole class will become engaged, thus creating an environment where high expectations are the norm and will most likely produce a higher achievement overall for the class.